Islamabad, the capital city of Pakistan, is a place of great interest and significance. Many people dream of visiting this beautiful city, and I was fortunate enough to make that dream a reality. My journey to Islamabad was filled with excitement, new experiences, and unforgettable memories. In this note, I'll share my experiences, observations, and the unique story of my adventure in Islamabad. Islamabad is a relatively young city, having been built in the 1960s to replace Karachi as Pakistan's capital. The city was carefully planned and designed to be a modern, organized urban center. Its name literally means City of Islam, reflecting the country's dominant religion and cultural identity. Located at the northern edge of the Pathar Plateau, Islamabad is nestled at the foot of the Margalla Hills, providing a stunning backdrop to the city's skyline. As I prepared for my trip to Islamabad, I couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and nervousness. I had heard so much about the city's beauty, its well-planned layout, and its blend of modern and traditional elements. I packed my bags with care, making sure to include appropriate clothing that would respect the local customs and culture. I also made a list of places I wanted to visit and things I wanted to experience during my stay. My journey began with a flight to Islamabad International Airport, which is one of the most modern airports in Pakistan. As the plane descended, I caught my first glimpse of the city from above. The neat grid of streets, the lush green areas, and the hills in the distance immediately struck me. It was a stark contrast to the chaotic urban sprawl I was used to seeing in other major cities. Upon landing, I was greeted by the warm Pakistani hospitality. The airport staff were friendly and efficient, helping me navigate through immigration and customs with ease. As I stepped out of the airport, the fresh air and the sight of well-maintained roads and gardens welcomed me. I hailed a taxi and began my journey into the heart of Islamabad. The taxi ride itself was an experience. The driver, a friendly local named Rashid, was eager to share his knowledge about the city. He pointed out various landmarks and gave me a brief history lesson as we drove. I learned that Islamabad is divided into different sectors, each designated by a letter and number combination. This systematic layout makes it easy for visitors to navigate the city. My first stop was my hotel in Sector F7, one of the city's popular residential and commercial areas. The hotel was a perfect blend of modern amenities and traditional Pakistani decor. After checking in and freshening up, I decided to take a walk around the neighborhood to get a feel for the city. The streets of Islamabad were clean and well-maintained, lined with trees that provided much-needed shade from the sun. I noticed that the city had a relaxed pace compared to other capital cities I had visited. People seemed to move with purpose, but without the frantic rush often associated with urban life. The air was cleaner than I expected, thanks to the city's strict environmental policies and the abundance of green spaces. As I walked, I came across Jinnah Supermarket, a popular shopping area in F7. The market was bustling with activity, with locals going about their daily shopping and tourists like myself exploring the various shops and eateries. I decided to stop at a local tea stall to enjoy a cup of traditional Pakistani chai and observe the life around me. Sitting at the tea stall, I struck up a conversation with an elderly gentleman named Abdul. He had lived in Islamabad since its early days and was happy to share his experiences with me. Abdul told me about how the city had grown and changed over the years, yet managed to maintain its unique character. His stories painted a vivid picture of Islamabad's transformation from a planned city on paper to a living, breathing metropolis. Abdul's eyes lit up as he recounted a particular story from his youth, which I found fascinating. He told me about the time when he was a young man working on the construction of the famous Shah Faisal Mosque. The mosque, which is one of Islamabad's most iconic landmarks, was still in its early stages of construction. One day, while working on the site, Abdul and his fellow workers discovered an ancient artifact buried deep in the ground. It was a small, intricately carved stone tablet with strange symbols that none of them could decipher. Excited by their find, they reported it to the site supervisor, who in turn informed the authorities. What followed was a flurry of activity as archaeologists and historians descended upon the construction site. The discovery of the tablet led to a temporary halt in the mosque's construction as experts studied the artifact and conducted further excavations in the area. Abdul recalled the excitement and speculation that swept through the city. Some believed the tablet was evidence of an ancient civilization that had once inhabited the area, while others thought it might contain a hidden message or prophecy. The mystery surrounding the artifact captured the imagination of the entire city, and for a brief period, it seemed that everyone in Islamabad was talking about it. After months of research and analysis, the experts finally deciphered the symbols on the tablet. To everyone's surprise, it turned out to be a record of an ancient traveler who had passed through the area centuries ago. The traveler had described the beauty of the landscape and predicted that one day, a great city would rise in this place, a city that would be a symbol of unity and progress. Abdul's eyes twinkled as he told me how amazed everyone was by this discovery. It seemed as if the ancient traveler had foreseen the creation of Islamabad long before it was even conceived. The story of the tablet became a part of the city's lore, adding an extra layer of mystique to its already rich history. Inspired by Abdul's story, I decided to make the Shah Faisal Mosque my next destination. The mosque, located at the foot of the Margalla Hills, is an architectural marvel that blends modern design with traditional Islamic art. As I approached the mosque, its massive white structure dominated the skyline. The unique design, resembling a Bedouin tent, was unlike any mosque I had seen before. Entering the mosque, I was struck by the sense of peace and tranquility that enveloped me. The vast prayer hall, capable of accommodating thousands of worshippers, was a testament to both architectural ingenuity and spiritual devotion. I spent some time in quiet contemplation, admiring the beautiful calligraphy and intricate designs that adorned the walls. As I sat there, I couldn't help but think about Abdul's story and the ancient traveler who had unknowingly predicted the rise of this great city. It made me realize that Islamabad, despite its modernity, was built on land rich with history and stories waiting to be discovered. Leaving the mosque, I decided to explore more of the city's natural beauty. Islamabad is known for its parks and green spaces, and I was eager to experience them firsthand. I made my way to the famous Fatima Jinnah Park, also known as F9 Park, one of the largest urban parks in Asia. The park was a refreshing oasis in the midst of the city. Families were out enjoying picnics, children were playing on the well-maintained playgrounds, and fitness enthusiasts were jogging along the many trails. I found a quiet spot under a tree and sat down to take in the scenery. The contrast between the lush greenery of the park and the modern buildings visible in the distance was striking. As I relaxed in the park, I struck up a conversation with a group of university students who were studying nearby. They were eager to share their experiences of living and studying in Islamabad. They told me about the city's excellent educational institutions, including Quaid-i-Azam University and the National University of Sciences and Technology, NUST. The students also shared their favorite spots in the city, recommending places I should visit during my stay. They spoke enthusiastically about the Lok Versa Museum, which showcases Pakistan's cultural heritage, and the Pakistan Monument, a national landmark that represents the country's provinces and territories. Inspired by their suggestions, I decided to visit the Pakistan Monument the next day. The monument, located on the western Shakar-Parian Hills, offers a panoramic view of Islamabad. As I approached the monument, its unique petal-shaped structure came into view. Each petal represents a province or territory of Pakistan, symbolizing the unity and diversity of the nation. Inside the monument, I found a museum that told the story of Pakistan's struggle for independence and its subsequent development. The exhibits were informative and moving, giving me a deeper understanding of the country's history and the challenges it has faced. As I stood on the viewing platform, looking out over the city, I was struck by the beauty of Islamabad's layout. The grid pattern of the sectors was clearly visible, interspersed with green belts and natural features. In the distance, I could see the Faisal Mosque and the Margala Hills, creating a stunning backdrop to the urban landscape. My exploration of Islamabad continued over the next few days. I visited the Faisal Mosque, marveling at its modern interpretation of Islamic architecture. The mosque's unique design, resembling a desert Bedouin's tent, is a testament to the vision of its Turkish architect, Vedat Dal-Ok. As I walked through its vast courtyard and entered the prayer hall, I was struck by the sense of serenity and spiritual connection that permeated the air. Another highlight of my trip was a visit to the Lok Versa Museum, also known as the National Institute of Folk and Traditional Heritage. This museum offers a fascinating glimpse into Pakistan's rich cultural heritage. As I wandered through the exhibits, I saw intricate handicrafts, traditional costumes, and folk art from various regions of Pakistan. The museum's dedication to preserving and showcasing the country's diverse cultural traditions was truly impressive. One of the most memorable experiences of my trip was a hike in the Margala Hills National Park. The park, which forms a natural boundary to the north of Islamabad, offers numerous hiking trails of varying difficulty. I chose a moderate trail that led me through lush forests and offered breathtaking views of the city below. As I climbed higher, the bustling sounds of the city faded away, replaced by the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves. The air became cooler and fresher, filled with the scent of pine trees. At various points along the trail, I stopped to take in the panoramic views of Islamabad spread out before me. It was during one of these moments of quiet contemplation that I truly appreciated the unique blend of nature and urban planning that makes Islamabad so special. During my hike, I encountered a group of local nature enthusiasts who were conducting a birdwatching expedition. They kindly invited me to join them, and I spent a fascinating hour learning about the diverse bird species that call the Margala Hills home. Through their powerful binoculars, I observed colorful kingfishers, majestic eagles, and even caught a glimpse of the elusive leopard cat. As we made our way back down the trail, one of the group members, a retired professor named Dr. Malik, shared an interesting story about the hills. He told me that according to local legend, the Margalla Hills were once home to a hidden city of enlightened beings. These beings, it was said, lived in harmony with nature and possessed great wisdom and knowledge. Dr. Malik recounted how, many years ago, a group of explorers had set out to find this mythical city. They ventured deep into the hills, following clues from ancient texts and local folklore. After days of arduous trekking, they came upon a series of caves high up in the mountains. As they explored the caves, they discovered intricate carvings and symbols on the walls, unlike anything they had seen before. Deeper inside, they found remnants of an advanced irrigation system and what appeared to be astronomical charts etched into the rock. Excited by their findings, the explorers spent weeks documenting everything they could. However, as they prepared to leave and share their discoveries with the world, a sudden storm hit the mountains. The heavy rains caused landslides that sealed off the entrance to the caves. By the time the storm subsided and rescue teams reached the area, there was no trace of the caves or the evidence the explorers had gathered. The mountains had reclaimed their secrets, leaving behind only the stories told by the few survivors of the expedition. Dr. Malik's tale added an air of mystery to the already captivating Margalla Hills. As we parted ways at the base of the trail, I found myself looking back at the hills with a newfound sense of wonder, imagining the secrets they might still hold. Returning to the city, I decided to explore some of Islamabad's markets and shopping areas. The city offers a mix of modern shopping malls and traditional bazaars, catering to all tastes and budgets. I started with a visit to the supermarket in F6, known for its boutiques and handicraft shops. Walking through the market, I was drawn to the colorful displays of traditional Pakistani textiles, intricate jewelry, and handcrafted items. I spent hours browsing the shops, chatting with friendly shopkeepers who were eager to share the stories behind their products. I couldn't resist buying a beautifully embroidered shawl as a memento of my trip. For a taste of more modern shopping, I visited the Centaurus Mall in F8. This multi-story shopping complex houses international brands, a food court, and a cinema. The mall offered a stark contrast to the traditional markets, showcasing Islamabad's ability to blend the old with the new. As my trip was nearing its end, I wanted to experience Islamabad's culinary scene. The city offers a diverse range of dining options, from street food to high-end restaurants. I started with a visit to the famous Mono restaurant, located in the Margalla Hills. The restaurant not only offers delicious Pakistani cuisine, but also provides stunning views of the city below. As I savored the aromatic biryani and tender kebabs, I struck up a conversation with a fellow diner, an elderly gentleman named Farouk. He shared with me the story of how Mono Restaurant came to be, a tale that perfectly encapsulated the spirit of Islamabad. Farouk told me that decades ago, the site where Mono now stands was nothing more than a barren hilltop. A young entrepreneur named Luqman had a vision of creating a restaurant that would showcase the beauty of Islamabad while offering the best of Pakistani cuisine. Many thought Luqman's idea was foolish. The location was too remote, they said, and the cost of construction on the hillside would be prohibitive. But Luqman was determined. He spent years saving money, perfecting his recipes, and refining his vision. Finally, with the support of his family and a few loyal friends, Luqman began construction. The process was challenging, with materials having to be transported up the steep hillside. There were times when Luqman nearly gave up, but the breathtaking view of Islamabad from this site always renewed his determination. After years of hard work and perseverance, Mono Restaurant finally opened its doors. At first, business was slow, but word soon spread about the incredible food and the unparalleled views. Before long, Mono became one of Islamabad's most popular destinations, attracting locals and tourists alike. Farooq's story reminded me of the spirit of innovation and determination that had built Islamabad itself. Just as Luqman had transformed a barren hilltop into a beloved restaurant, the founders of Islamabad had turned an undeveloped area into a thriving capital city. On my last day in Islamabad, I decided to visit the Faisal Mosque one more time. As I sat in the mosque's vast courtyard, reflecting on my experiences in the city, I realized how much Islamabad had surprised and delighted me. I had come expecting a typical capital city, full of government buildings and busy streets. Instead, I found a unique blend of modernity and tradition, urban planning and natural beauty. The city's wide, tree-lined avenues and abundant parks gave it a sense of spaciousness and tranquility that I had never experienced in a capital before. But more than the physical beauty of the city, it was the people of Islamabad that had left the deepest impression on me. From Abdul at the tea stall to Dr. Malik in the Margalla Hills, from the university students in the park to Farooq at Mono Restaurant, everyone I met had been warm, welcoming, and eager to share their stories and experiences. These personal encounters had brought the city to life for me in a way that no guidebook ever could. They had shown me that behind Islamabad's carefully planned exterior lay a rich tapestry of human experiences, hopes, and dreams. As I prepared to leave Islamabad, I felt a sense of gratitude for the experiences I had enjoyed and the people I had met. The city had taught me valuable lessons about the importance of balancing progress with respect for nature and tradition. It had shown me that even in a rapidly modernizing world, it is possible to create urban spaces that are both efficient and livable. My journey to Islamabad had been more than just a tourist trip. It had been an eye-opening experience that challenged my preconceptions and broadened my understanding of Pakistan and its people. As my taxi drove me back to the airport, I found myself already planning my next visit to this remarkable city. Islamabad, with its unique blend of natural beauty, modern infrastructure, and rich culture, had captured my heart. It stood as a testament to what can be achieved when vision, planning, and respect for tradition come together. As the plane took off, giving me one last aerial view of the city nestled beneath the Margalla Hills, I knew that the memories of my time in Islamabad would stay with me for years to come.